In just over half an hour, the $64,000 question. But first, it's Central News.
Religion link to child abuse inquiry. A new lease of life for plastic. And it's D-Day for the indoor arena. This is Central News. Good evening. Our main report. West Midlands Police have tonight confirmed that the former head of the Special Constabulary in Solihull is being investigated in connection with a huge inquiry into child sex abuse. The allegations surround a holiday scheme for deprived children. We'll have the details in a moment, but first we join Michelle and Bob Hall live at the National Indoor Arena for the opening of the country's newest sports complex.
Thanks, Bob. Well, the opening ceremony is well underway here at the National Indoor Arena, marking the end of years of hard work and planning. It's transformed what used to be a neglected inner-city site into a world-class venue, one that's designed to cater for international events.
Yes, indeed, the arena has already been chosen to host 5 major world championships and a whole host of international athletic events. Talking of top athletes, Linford Christie, Britain's best, is here. I'll be talking to him later in the programme. He's, of course, the guest of honour tonight. He's had a look inside, Michelle. He thinks it's great.
I'm not surprised. Well, it cost £51 million to build, and it took 2.5 years. Its main feature, of course, is a 6-lane, 200-metre running track, which can be stored away when it's not needed. It can also be fitted with an ice rink. The arena can hold up to 13,000 spectators and has been designed to cater for a host of other events, ranging from concerts to conventions. We'll have more from this evening's opening ceremony later on the programme. In the meantime, it's back to Bob for the rest of the day's news.
Well, now back to the investigation into the former head of Solihull Special Constabulary. Divisional Commander Graham Bailey resigned his post with the part-time police force following allegations of sexual abuse. The investigations involve holidays for deprived children organised as part of his job with a Birmingham-based religious mission. Police have tonight revealed that 22 children have been interviewed, but we understand the inquiry is far from over.
The former divisional commandant was the joint president of the Mount Ararat Children's Mission, a religious organisation based at a flat in the Northfield area of Birmingham. It's been providing holidays for deprived children for a number of years. The mission was used by Birmingham's Social Services Department and many religious charities. The allegations of child sex abuse against Mr. Bailey arose following the latest holiday. Tonight, West Midlands Police issued a statement to say, "We can now confirm that 22 children have been interviewed in connection with this matter and statements have been taken." They go on to emphasise that the allegations have no connection with this man's duties as a special constable. A joint investigation between police and Birmingham Social Services Department is now underway to interview many of the other children who've been on holidays with the Mount Ararat mission.
If you think what we're doing, it's going and knocking fairly cold on a family's front door, saying your child's been on a holiday, you might have had contact with an individual, and we'd like to talk to you about that. We then have to talk to the parents, allay some of their fears and anxieties, and then talk to the children. And obviously, probably go back again, because they're still going to have anxieties after we've left. So yes, it is something that we want to do very slowly, very carefully, so as not to over-alarm people, because we hope that most of those children who we interview will be able to be eliminated from the inquiry.
He says their part of the inquiry has a long way to go. Teams of specially trained social workers have already been briefed on their task ahead.
Nearly all the children, as far as I know, are with families. We just need to talk to the parents about possible side effects of a child having an experience like that and help them to help their children.
Today, the divisional commander has not been available for comment.
Police believe the same people may be responsible for starting fires at 2 schools in Starbridge. Both are being treated as suspicious and the damage is estimated at thousands of pounds. Fire crews were dealing with a fire at the Gigmill School in Heath Farm Road when they saw flames rising from Ridgewood High School half a mile away. It's believed that arsonists broke into a portable classroom and set it on fire. They then started smaller fires in the headmaster's office and staff room inside the main building. Investigations into both fires are continuing. The region's car makers are continuing to be hit by the recession. September's sales figures from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders show an overall drop of 17%. Rover sold 50,000 fewer cars this year than it had by this time last year. Jaguar's figure is 4,000 down. The company sold just over half the number of cars it had in the first 9 months of 1990. But Peugeot Talbot UK is holding its own. Figures are slightly up at 400 more cars sold this year than last. A family from the Black Country is seeking legal advice over the treatment of their teenage daughter at a health clinic. 17-year-old Sarah Ridgway says she was kept in a darkened room for 6 months at the Charles Burns Clinic in Birmingham.
Sarah Ridgway was 12 when she was sent to the Charles Burns Clinic in Birmingham, supposedly suffering from anorexia. Staff didn't realize she actually had a bowel disorder called Crohn's disease. She was placed in a dark room, alone, until she started eating again. This was her treatment.
It was horrible. I walked in, there was crepe paper up the windows. There was no wallpaper up the walls, just boards. They told me to get on the bed, that's the only words they said. And they told me they couldn't speak to me until I put on weight and earned it. I sat on the bed just crying. I couldn't get it out of me that I couldn't see my mum.
How long were you in that room for?
6 months. It was terrible. Just non-stop crying. It was just horrible. I couldn't live it again.
Her allegations back up a 1985 Central News reconstruction of the way children are treated at the Charles Burns unit. Today, Sarah is still under a doctor's supervision for her medical condition, and she says she's scarred by her 14 months at the clinic.
I struggled to eat just to get the paper off the windows, but knowing that it was Crohn's disease at the end, I couldn't believe that they put me through all that.
As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see Charles Burns closed down yesterday for me. I wouldn't like to see any child or hear of any child go through what Sarah has, or the trauma we've been through, again in my lifetime.
The Charles Burns Clinic sits next to a special school of the same name. It's a separate institution, and its 2 top teachers have been suspended. Sarah says she has no complaint about the school, just the clinic. Today, the South Birmingham Health Authority said it has every confidence in the high quality of management and care at the clinic. As for Sarah's treatment, they won't comment on specific cases. Isolation in dark rooms has now been stopped.
The Chief Executive of Shropshire County Council has been asked to take leave while there's an inquiry into his disqualification from driving. Michael Souter was banned after being convicted of drink driving earlier this year. The investigation is to be carried out by a group of elected members of the council. That's the news for the moment. Now back to Michelle at the indoor arena.
Thank you very much, Bob. Well, you come to us, you can see behind me, it's a superb event. The opening ceremony is well underway. We're being treated to a display of local children illustrating the history of Birmingham. Yes, it is a superb event, but what are the future? What are the future events? What will really this mean to the people of Birmingham? Well, I've got the man with all the answers standing next to me, Bob Pratty, the events director. So, Bob, what will really this mean for people in the Midlands?
For people in the Midlands and for people in the UK, it means a very exciting and varied range of events. We're concentrating at the moment, obviously, on sport, but as well as that, we're moving into family entertainment and concerts. A very wide and exciting range of events.
Oh, lots of applause at the moment, as you can see, because we're just having a quick change before it goes into the next display by the children. Tell me a little bit about the events, Bob. The Mickey Mouse, for example, that's going to be very popular, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. We're doing Walt Disney on Ice. They were bringing in either their own ice mat or using one of the 2 that we own as NEC. And that's a very interesting event for us to put together.
What about some of the other events you've got to do special preparation for? Anything particular that's taxing you?
Yes, indeed. As well as trying to pinch events from other venues, we're also creating our own events, and therefore we're looking at new and varied different events that don't exist otherwise. 2 of the ones we're looking at are actually indoor windsurfing and indoor
windsurfing?
Indoor windsurfing.
How in heaven's name are you going to do that?
Yeah, we create a huge pool of water within the arena, and we have enormous jet blowers each side of the arena, and these intrepid windsurfers zoom across the arena floor.
And what about the other one you're just about to mention? Not just the windsurfing.
The other one, which is even more strange in many ways for an indoor event, is indoor slalom skiing. We're going to create a ski slope, and indoor skiers will be performing in this arena before too long.
You really got the space to make that sort of length of slope?
Yes, it's a very big arena, as you can see, as well as having the space to do those events. The Aida Opera, which is one of the next events into the arena, has an enormous stage and a cast of 600, so we have a very large arena here.
Are you well ahead in preparation for that?
Yes, we're ready to go with Aida. We're well on sale. We've sold a lot of tickets. There are still tickets left, and it's a very spectacular production.
And I gather that you're all pretty sporting in the arena yourselves, aren't you? You're a rugby player?
Yeah, I play rugby, and most of my team actually are involved in sports of different kinds, yeah.
So what do you think of the future then? It's going to be a success?
Yeah, it's undoubtedly. The programme already is very busy. Many of the events I've already run through, but even after Christmas we enter our athletics programme, and essentially we're hitting the floor running.
Bob Pratty, thank you very much indeed. And now it's back to Bob. We'll see you later.
Well, something else that's new. The owners of a new plastics recycling plant in the region claim it's the first of its kind in Britain. They think it could be a trailblazer for a revolution in waste disposal. The company takes plastic rubbish and converts it into pipes for use both at home and abroad.
There are times when it looks as if plastic is taking over. We use it to package our food, our drinks, toothpaste, talcum powder, shampoo, loo cleaner, washing up liquid, stuff that's kind to the hands and stuff that isn't. In short, just about everything. The trouble is, it doesn't rot. That's why so much of it ends up as litter. But not if it comes to Aqua Pipes at Shipston on Stour in Warwickshire. They take old plastic, chop it up and clean it, throw in a touch of colouring and turn it into pipes. So might we in the future then see households throughout the country sorting their rubbish out, putting the plastic to one side and one of your lorries picking it up?
I'm sure we will, because unless they get round to getting this organised, we're going to have such a domestic plastic waste problem that within probably the next 2 or 3 years we'll certainly see legislation where people will actually have to separate their rubbish and get rid of the usable recyclable material. We have been trying to compete with major companies throughout the UK who actually are much bigger than us, and they actually own refineries. And so we had to find a source of material which made our product economical to produce. And this is what we came up with.
So you think you're on a winner?
I'm sure we're on a winner.
The system is that the company's lorries deliver the goods on the way out and collect the waste plastic on the way back. That, they say, is a fully integrated system. And today, Derek Clark's £2 million investment was officially opened. The pipes are colour-coded so that anyone who needs to know, like those digging up the road, can tell at a glance what's in them. Yellow is for gas, black for drainage, lilac for street lighting, and brown for sewerage. Honestly.
Well, welcome back, and you couldn't have joined us at a better time. I was saying to you just before the interview about the history of Birmingham. Here we are, local school children, showing the growth of communication in Birmingham. How Birmingham's developed its railway and its canals, the longboats just making its way up the side of the arena at the moment. And you see the illustration of the water moving. There's just so much going on, and just such a short time these children have had to prepare it. I know you're coming back to us very soon. Here's back to Bob.
And meanwhile, we're taking a break. Coming up next, Darwin's secret of evolution and Christie's view of the arena.
Flora, perfect sunflower oil.
You get a pain out here. You want a painkiller that's fast and effective, like Panadol Extra. Fast, effective pain relief, wherever you are.
When it's time to find a place of your own, call into your local Derbyshire branch. You'll find you'll get along with our mortgage counsellors swimmingly, because we don't treat first-time buyers like small fry.
Don't look now, but I think we got one of them mystery customers in. Where? Sitting over there, by the door. She was having a really good nose around just now.
What did she have?
White wine.
Was it cold?
Yes.
Was the glass cold?
Yes.
Did you offer her a choice?
Yes.
She'll be all right then.
Yeah.
Anyway, Just act natural.
Yeah, natural.
Ansells, better service, better pubs. No mystery.
Guess what's happening next February?
Valentine's Day?
True, and there's nothing to pay until February the 1st if you buy from MEB now.
Hello again. A new book on the life of Shrewsbury's most famous son, Charles Darwin, has just been published. The book's based on a wealth of new material and reveals that Darwin kept his revolutionary theory of evolution secret for 20 years because he was afraid of upsetting his friends in the establishment.
Professors Jim Moore and Adrian Desmond have spent the past 2 years writing their new biography of Charles Darwin. And during that time, they traced his formative years in the Shropshire town of Shrewsbury.
I love being in Shrewsbury. I try to follow Darwin all over the country. In writing his biography, I've been to loads of places. And Shrewsbury is one of my favorite ones. Here in Shrewsbury, there's his church, his school, and his home, the Mount in Frankwell.
Darwin was born here in this imposing house built by his father, who was a local doctor. His first school was a short walk away just over the Welsh Bridge. And later, his father sent him to Shrewsbury School. The building is now the town's library.
He's the fat little boy in the class. He was chunky and he didn't like going in for sports. He had a big brother and he had big sisters, so he felt pestered at home. He's always anxious to please people, always anxious to be approved of.
The authors believe that it was this fear of disapproval that led Darwin to keep his revolutionary theory of evolution a closely guarded secret.
He sat on his theory for 20 years. That's an awful long time. Today, when you write a book, you've got a contract straight away and publish the next year. He came up with his theory after the Beagle voyage when he was in London. Now, the London years, 1837 to 9, were riotous, almost revolutionary years. He feared that if he published then, it would be like throwing ammunition to the rioters. He sat on it for 20 years and was pushed into publishing in 1859.
Darwin was married to Emma Wedgwood, the daughter of Josiah, and they had 10 children. But during their research in Shropshire, Jim and Adrian stumbled on information about Darwin's first love.
Her name was Fanny Owen. She was dark-eyed, petite, rollicking spirit, and she wouldn't take second place. And he took Fanny beetle hunting, this time in the strawberry beds up at the house. And before long, they were down on their hands and knees, and then finally, people saw them lying beside each other, munching on the fruit, behaving themselves like beasts. It was his first real romance.
The 800-page book, published this week, is the first to paint such a full picture of the man who wiped away centuries of misconception. And his statue in Shrewsbury Town Centre ensures his place in the history of Shropshire.
Well, now some football news. Liverpool have paid £600,000 for the Crewe Alexandra defender Rob Jones. He's 19 and a lifelong Liverpool fan. Jones, an England youth international, is in the Liverpool squad for Sunday's televised match against Manchester United. With that, we return to the National Indoor Arena and Bob Hall.
Well, over the next few months, the National Indoor Arena has got to make its name in many ways. They're going to play host to Verdi's Aida. They'll also have Mickey Mouse and friends here as part of Walt Disney on Ice. But to build that international reputation that the indoor arena wants, the word is sport.
Television audiences across the world tuned in yesterday to the opening ceremony of the Rugby World Cup. Twickenham, the focus for millions of fans. England's soccer authorities are emerging as favourites to host their European Championships in 5 years' time. And now the National Indoor Arena is battling for its place as a venue for the world's top sporting events, many with a lower profile but no less significant to competitors and supporters. Already 5 World Championships have been secured. Next year, some of the strongest men on earth are here for the World Powerlifting Championships. Before that comes the little-known World Cup final of competition climbing. There's also gymnastics, badminton and netball. But the biggest prize would come in the shape of athletics. The arena replaces the facilities at RAF Cosford near Wolverhampton. Athletes have fond memories of racing on the base, but the time had clearly come for something a little newer. Britain's other premier indoor track is Kelvin Hall in Glasgow. Already the Scots have hosted the prestigious European Indoor Championships. As the building began in Birmingham, so did work to bring in the cream of world events. As the shell took shape, so did the sporting programme. But as it reached its completion, there was still plenty to do in terms of creating a schedule of the very best of international sport for the National Indoor Arena.
Well, with the music in the background, the one thing you can see are the efforts of 300 Birmingham school children who've given up their last 3 weekends to rehearse the logos. And you've got a perfect view there showing how the Heart of England and the National Indoor Arena logos are well shown to everyone. Well done to those children. Well, with me now is the man who has got to sell this place. He's got to get the sporting events in here, and that's Richard Callicott. Richard, it's a big job.
It's a big job, but with a great facility like the one we've got here, Bob, it's hard, but I think we can achieve it.
It's one thing getting the events here. You've then got to get people through the doors, haven't you?
That's right. Part of the whole process of attracting major events is the marketing of the event itself, and I think we've got off to a good start tonight with 8,000 people.
How much do you think it's helped that Birmingham, of course, bid for the '92 Olympics? They didn't get it, but since then the sporting profile really has been raised a lot, hasn't it?
Well, I think obviously the City Fathers are to be credited with that decision and their far-sightedness. And yes, the 1992, in my personal opinion, had a great deal to play with that. Birmingham is now known around the world, and as we go out to try and bring in major events, it's a little easier because people now know the name of Birmingham.
What sort of events can we look forward to in here in the next few months then?
Well, as you know, we've got 5 World Championships so far, and we're now bidding for 4 or 5 other major events, and the process we have to go through of working with the governing bodies of sport and the event organisers sometimes is a fairly lengthy one. So we're already engaged now with bringing in events for 1997. Amongst those events that we're looking for are sports like squash. Perhaps one day we might see something to do with athletics on a world stage, and also things like Harlem Globetrotters, world quality events of that nature.
Do you think it will all help the city to up its profile and perhaps have another go for the Olympics?
Well, that's a decision for the politicians to decide as to whether we have another go for the Olympic Games. But in terms of the city's profile, television coverage and worldwide audiences will certainly guarantee a very high profile for the city of Birmingham in the future. There's no question of that.
Richard, we wish you all power to your elbow. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Well, the first of those major athletic events that will happen here will be in January, and that's the Omron Games. Guest of honour tonight is Linford Christie. We spoke earlier. Well, Linford, this is going to be a great day for athletics. I think everybody's delighted to see this building opening.
Well, definitely, you know, we've had Cosford for all these years, and it's nice actually to have a world-class arena where we can actually have bigger meetings than, you know, say the phrase, we can actually bid for maybe the World Championships in the future.
Is there just a bit of a tear in the eye, though, at the prospect that you won't be going to Cosford again?
Well, obviously, we've had fond memories of the place, but saying that we've got to move on, and we see this as progress. You know, we're progressing on now to, you know, real world-class standard where we can actually have the facilities now to compete with, say, the Americans who are the top nations at the moment.
Because we've been very much the poor relations for a long time when it's come to facilities, which you must have noticed, particularly with the amount of time you spent, particularly in America.
Definitely. I mean, to think of it, years ago, Britain had the first ever indoor arena, and now, I mean, 7 years later, this is the second one we've got, you know, apart from the one in Scotland. So it's very much needed, especially in the Birmingham area, which is very, very central. And as I say, I mean, for the people of Birmingham, they're very, very lucky. Londoners, we got to come all the way up here to use the facilities, but say that it's great.
Because Birmingham's worked very hard at its sporting image. Of course, they did go for the Olympic Games. This is all going to help their profile worldwide, isn't it?
Well, definitely. You see, if in, you know, beforehand, people are always bidding instead of building, but now they've got a building and they can go forward now and make a bid. You know, I think it's great to actually see the structure rather than see it on paper and say, okay, this is what we want to do. Birmingham's showing everyone else now that we're doing it.
Well, everybody's here in their best suits tonight, including yourself. I suppose you're really looking forward to, though, the first time you actually get to compete here.
Well, definitely. It's got the reputation of being a fast track. A lot of athletes said they like it. So I'm happy to come here one day, break some records and go out on a good note.
And sadly, that's just about it from us. So just winding up at the moment. Pageant continues, followed by a superb display of gymnastics. Some world-class people,
Yes,
Bob.
indeed. We've got some of the very best. 2 of the top Russians, Marchenko and Redkova, will be here. And normally you only get to see them on television.
Absolutely.
So
I think
here
that's
they
what
are in our own city of Birmingham.
I think a lot of the crowd here have come to see them especially. And of course, it's not just the end, it's the beginning. A whole 5-day events of really superb sport.
And I can get my breath back having dashed up the stairs from down there on the floor.
Doesn't good.
We've had a good time, haven't we?
It's been tremendous. And
Hope
it's
you've
not
enjoyed
finishing
it.
either.
We'll see you soon.
We are there. Bye-bye.
had the best sort of October weather today, a crisp start, decent temperatures to end with, and sunshine most of the way through. I don't think we'll get off this lightly all the way through the month. Broken skies over us gave us that sunshine, but the next lot of rain is almost with us. It's in that band of cloud loitering over Ireland there. Some of the cloud has already sneaked into the region, but we'll see the full brunt of that through tonight. There'll be some heavy bursts of rain across the north of the region to start with, and spreading southwards later, so we'll all get to see it. Temperatures down to 8, so no risk of a ground frost tonight, with all of that cloud and rain around. By morning, we'll still be seeing some heavy rain across the south of the region, but brighter weather will be following it. There'll be some sun shining in the north by midday, and most places will be drier and sunnier for the afternoon as the last of that rain clears off south. Maybe 1 or 2 showers across the top of Shropshire and Staffordshire, but no real problem there. 14 Celsius is 57 Fahrenheit, and it's worth noting that Saturday night is going to be a real chiller. We could get down to 0. It could be the first air frost of the season. You'll be into your bed socks soon. So it means a cold start to Sunday, but a sunny one, and clouding over in the afternoon though. And we could see some light rain across the north again towards the evening. 14 is the high, still feeling chilly because the winds will be freshening up. 57 for Sunday.